Hello and welcome to this public hearing for the Port Authority Bus Terminal Replacement Project. This public hearing is being conducted in accordance with the National Environmental Policy Act, more commonly known as NEPA. The Federal Transit Administration, or FTA, the NEPA lead agency, has determined that an Environmental Impact Statement, or EIS, is to be prepared for the proposed project, referred to as the Bus Terminal Replacement Project. Under the auspices of the NEPA process, the Port Authority is seeking federal funding to assist with financing the proposed Bus Terminal Replacement Project. The NEPA EIS will also serve as the City Environmental Quality Review, or SEQR. The FTA, in coordination with the Port Authority, has prepared the draft Environmental Impact Statement, or DEIS, with input from the public and in coordination with federal, state, and local entities. The DEIS Notice of Availability was published in the Federal Register. At the conclusion of this presentation, we will review the comment period, all comments submitted during this hearing, and the entire public comment period will be reviewed and addressed within the final Environmental Impact Statement, which is expected to be completed in August 2024. Following these introductory remarks, we will present via this video an introduction of the project, an overview of community engagement conducted to date, a comprehensive project overview featuring detailed site plans, an overview of construction phasing and process, and finally, the project timeline and next steps. The FTA, in coordination with the Port Authority, will be hosting a total of 4 public hearings, 3 virtual via the Zoom platform and 1 in person, for the Port Authority Bus Terminal Replacement Project DEIS, to hear comments from the public. Following this presentation, attendees will have the opportunity to provide comments. For those who have pre-registered to provide a comment, the moderator will call your name in the order in which your registration was received. Each participant will have 3 minutes to articulate their comments. If you have not pre-registered to provide a comment, you may request to do so once the public hearing is underway, and you will be called upon if time permits. Alternatively, written submissions of comments can be submitted after the public hearing through various channels, such as the designated website, www.pabtreplacement.com, email at pabtreplacementnepa@panyj.gov, by phone, leaving a voicemail at 92950273004, or by postal correspondence to the Port Authority of New York, New Jersey. 4. World Trade Center, 150 Greenwich Street, 25th floor, New York, New York zip code 10007. Attention to Miss Elizabeth Throgak, Esquire. Or to the Federal Transit Administration, Region 2, 1 Bowling Green, Room 428, New York, New York zip code 10004-1415. Attention to Mr. Donald Burns, FTA Director of Planning and Program Development. We are here to listen to you and hear your comments. Your feedback is important and continues to guide the future of this project. In this section, we will provide a brief overview of the National Environmental Policy Act. This is followed by the project's purpose, need, goals, and objectives. The National Environmental Policy Act. Federal agencies are required by NEPA to prepare an EIS if a proposed federal action may significantly affect the quality of the natural or built environment. An EIS is a detailed written statement that defines the purpose and need for a proposed action, considers a range of reasonable alternatives, including a no-action alternative that is the future without the proposal, identifies and evaluates the potential environmental impacts from the proposed action and any reasonable alternatives, and identifies measures that may mitigate the potential effects of a proposed action. Project purpose and need. A new bus terminal is needed to accommodate approximately 260,000 passenger trips on a busy weekday. This translates to approximately 23% of all Trans-Hudson commuters at present, and bus ridership is projected to increase to 30% by 2040. Existing bus and passenger travel demand is forecasted to increase substantially. As such, the Port Authority needs to support the projected growth of commuter and intercity travel crossing the Hudson. The Port Authority needs to address the functional and physical obsolescence of the existing terminal. The existing bus terminal is already at capacity and will not be able to meet future demand. It is also past the end of its useful life and will require significant structural repair if a replacement project is not undertaken. The repair would fix some of the issues facing the building today, but reduce the capacity of the facility to handle buses. The Port Authority needs to address bus operations and storage and staging. Project Goals. The project seeks to improve Trans-Hudson bus operations, improve the passenger experience within the terminal, provide seamless passenger accessibility to NYC transit connection, strive to achieve consistency with local and regional land use plans and initiatives, develop a project that optimizes life cycle costs, and reduce the impacts of bus services on the built and natural environments. Project Objectives. An important guiding principle driving this project is the enhancement of the commuter experience within the bus terminal. This principle has played a pivotal role in shaping the following project objectives: maintain and enhance connectivity with subways and mass transit, deliver a world-class, state-of-the-art, sustainable terminal design, preserve and improve pedestrian and ADA accessibility to traveler origins and destinations, and establish direct bus linkages to the Lincoln Tunnel. There is more detailed information about the project purpose and need, its goals and objectives, in the Draft Environmental Impact Statement Reports Chapters 1 and 2. Community Feedback. In this section, we will review the extensive community engagement conducted to date. In May 2019, the Port Authority released a planning-level scoping document for public review that commenced a 120-day comment period. The document identified a long list of alternatives that were screened down to 3 alternatives that best met the project purpose and need. These 3 alternatives were: split operations between a rehabilitated bus terminal and the Javits Center, locate operations entirely at the Javits Center, and retain operations at the existing bus terminal site and Port Authority properties. The planning-level draft scoping document, summary of comments and responses, and final scoping report summarizing this process and outcome are all available on the project website, www.pabtreplacement.com. In June 2021, a notice of intent to prepare an environmental impact statement was released to the public, initiating a 45-day comment period to solicit feedback on the NEPA Scoping Information Packet. Following this period, the final NEPA Scoping Information Packet was published summarizing comments received. This extensive public and stakeholder input during the planning-level scoping and NEPA scoping periods informed the Port Authority in formulating its proposal for the modified proposed project, which is referred to as the Bus Terminal Replacement Project. Bus storage and staging. In consideration of the public comments and local community feedback regarding impacts caused by bus traffic on city streets and the utilization of street-level bus stops, queuing and parking across various locations, the Port Authority responded by incorporating a bus storage and staging facility that will facilitate direct connections between the Lincoln Tunnel and the new terminal. The new ramp structure, which connects the tunnel, storage and staging facility, and new main terminal, will reduce and further minimize any impacts to city streets from buses accessing the replacement facility This reduced use of city streets will help offset the natural growth of local traffic that is currently impacted due to curbside and bus terminal operations. Additionally, during the planning level scoping process, the community put forth a request to the Port Authority to relocate the intercity buses presently operating at adjacent curbside locations into the scope of the project. Unlike a transit bus service, which has frequent stops within a city, an intercity bus service generally has a single stop in a city and travels long distances to reach other cities. Presently, some intercity bus services operate within the existing terminal, while others operate curbside along city streets. In response to the public comments regarding curbside operations, a dedicated floor within the new main terminal will now facilitate the efficient functioning of curbside operations. Project overview and site plans. In this next section, we share renderings of each project component. This is an aerial map of the existing Port Authority bus terminal facilities, distinctly outlined in orange. The facilities extend from 8th Avenue to 11th Avenue between 39th Street and 42nd Street. Project components. This locally preferred alternative, also known as the Port Authority Bus Terminal Replacement Program, or the New Midtown Bus Terminal, includes the following components: a new main terminal at the location of the existing terminal, utilization of Port Authority property, an integrated building immediately west of the main terminal to accommodate commuter bus storage and staging, a new ramp structure and underpass to connect directly the buildings and the Lincoln Tunnel, publicly accessible open space, and private development at 2 locations on Port Authority property. Now we will walk through each major component of the proposed project. The main terminal will be located at 8th Avenue crossing over 9th Avenue between 40th Street and 42nd Street and will include 5 floors of bus gates, 1 floor for intercity buses, and 4 floors for regional commuter buses. 182 bus gates, approximately 40 of which are dedicated to intercity operations. Direct connection to the 8th Avenue subway and Times Square transit hubs. Best-in-class passenger amenities such as modern facilities, appealing street-facing retail spaces, modernized ticketing areas, and state-of-the-art design. The Americans with Disabilities Act or ADA standards integrated into layout and design. A partial closure of 41st Street will create a linkage of a north and south wing, increasing operational efficiency and public access. Larger central atrium, and finally, approximately 55,665 square feet of street-facing retail space, as well as 13,700 square feet of interior retail space. The main terminal will ultimately be connected to the storage and staging facility and ramps across 40th Street to create an integrated operation and circulation pattern. The new storage and staging facility will be located between 9th Avenue and 10th Avenue between 39th Street and 40th Street. This facility is designed to encompass 5 levels of storage, accommodating approximately 300 to 350 storage spots. This additional storage space is anticipated to reduce vehicular congestion on city thoroughfares and throughout the Lincoln Tunnel during rush hour. The storage and staging facility will serve as a temporary bus terminal for commuters during the construction phase of the main terminal. Additionally, the facility will provide approximately 65,700 square feet of additional at-grade retail space. The new ramp structure will be located at Galvin Plaza, west of 10th Avenue. The ramp structure will serve all bus movements into and out of the above-grade bus levels of the replacement facility to and from the Lincoln Tunnel. Spanning an area of approximately 350,000 square feet, the ramp structure will connect to the storage and staging facility and main terminal. The design of the ramps will greatly relieve congestion on 40th Street and 9th Avenue. This ramp structure design will also enhance the quality of the urban streetscape while optimizing bus reliability. The new ramp structure will maximize bus access to the Lincoln Tunnel and other approaches while minimizing the need for terminal-bound buses on local streets for circulation or terminal access. Adjacent to the storage staging facility, two below-grade sections of Dyer Avenue or the Lincoln Tunnel Expressway between 37th Street and 39th Street, and 9th Avenue and 10th Avenue will be decked over. The deckovers on Dyer Avenue will serve as a location for temporary bus operations and potentially for construction staging during the development phase of the replacement terminal. Following the completion of the main terminal, these areas will be transformed into expansive, publicly accessible open spaces, totaling nearly 3½ acres, enhancing the urban landscape. The Port Authority is committed to collaborating closely with community stakeholders on the design and operation of the open space. At this time, no specific design or range of options has been put forth for the development of this open space, as a consultative process will occur in the future. As part of the project, two private development towers are proposed to be built on Port Authority property located on 8th Avenue between 40th Street and 42nd Street. The two towers are proposed as commercial offices. Tower 1 would contain up to approximately 3 million gross square feet of commercial space with an approximate height of 1,200 feet above grade and a lobby entrance located on the corner of 8th Avenue and 42nd Street. Tower 2 would contain up to approximately 2 million gross square feet of commercial space, with an approximate height of 900 feet above grade and a lobby entrance located on the corner of 8th Avenue and 40th Street. These approximations are subject to market demand. The funding strategy for the project would include financing from this private development and payment in lieu of taxes. Upon completion, the Port Authority Bus Terminal will provide many advantages to its diverse customers, community members, and various stakeholders, including an elevated public realm, significantly enhanced user experience, improved vehicular and pedestrian flow, and green energy transition, to name a few. Beginning with the elevated public realm, there will be major improvements in the streetscape, including the integration of street-facing storefronts throughout the project site and appropriately scaled sidewalks and pedestrian areas for diverse users. The conversion of the Dyer Avenue deck-overs into publicly accessible space will further augment these improvements to the public realm. The creation of a larger central atrium by linking the north and south wings will enable intuitive wayfinding and significantly enhance the spatial experience of the terminal. The new ramp structure and storage and staging facility will contribute to the substantial reduction in bus vehicle miles traveled on city streets. This streamlined traffic flow will enhance the reliability of bus commutes, benefiting the experience of commuters. Moreover, the expanded intercity capacity will accommodate curbside operators using the facility. Lastly, the new terminal will embrace a green energy transition. The project is slated to achieve a LEED 4 Silver certification with the intent to pursue an Envision Gold rating consistently. This aligns with the adoption of electric fleet changes and the incorporation of modern energy-efficient systems within the terminal, striving towards a net zero carbon profile. In this next section, we will provide an overview of the project phasing as well as the construction process. The project timeline is estimated to be approximately 10 years. Following scoping, the first 2.5 years of the project, beginning in January 2022, consists of an environmental review and the Uniform Land Use Review Procedure, or ULURP, for the proposed project. Receiving and responding accordingly to public and industry feedback, and the procurement of construction, professional, and technical services for the project. The proposed project's timeline entails an estimated 8-year construction period, starting in 2024 through the end of 2032. The initial 4 years within this timeframe will be dedicated to constructing the Dyer Avenue deckovers, storage and staging facility, and the ramp structure. The storage and staging facility will open and serve as the temporary terminal by approximately late 2028, at which time the construction of the main terminal will begin for a duration of 4 years. The construction of the main terminal will incorporate foundational work for the private development set to occur independently in the future. Construction of the main terminal is anticipated to be completed by the end of 2032. The private development will occur after then and are expected to be completed by 2040. The following renderings will depict the 8-year construction period organized into 2 major phases. Phase 1, occurring between 2024 and 2028, will commence with early action activities focused on the construction of 2 deck-over structures south of the existing ramps. These deckovers will be placed over the mouth of the south and center tubes of the Lincoln Tunnel. Additionally, Phase 1 will include the construction of the ramp structure and storage and staging facility. The storage and staging facility will be equipped to operate as a temporary terminal when the construction of the main terminal begins. This strategic adaptation will allow the continuity of essential transportation services during the onset of construction for the main terminal, thus minimizing disruptions and maintaining the uninterrupted provision of transportation services throughout the subsequent phases of the project. Once the storage and staging facility is available for temporary operations, Phase 2, occurring between 2028 and 2032, will consist of demolition of the existing Port Authority bus terminal, construction of the new main terminal, as well as the foundational work of 2 private development towers. Once the main terminal is complete and operational, the storage and staging facility will be converted from temporary commuter operations to storage and staging operations. The Dyer Avenue deckovers can then be converted to public open space, with the foundation and cores of 2 private towers incorporated in the design and construction of the new bus terminal. The development of private development would commence subject to market demand and expected to be constructed by 2040. The sale of the development rights and payment in lieu of taxes for the 2 commercial office towers are needed to fund the project. In this next section, we will conclude with an overview of the environmental timeline and next steps. At present, the project is positioned at Step 5 within its comprehensive planning and environmental review process. The DEIS public hearings and 45-day comment period began with the publication of the DEIS. In terms of the next steps, the project team will consolidate all comments received during public meetings, including those submitted via the project website, email, mail, and voicemail. Then the project will progress to Step 6, in which the team will prepare and release a final environmental impact statement and the record of decision by the summer of 2024. Following this presentation, attendees will have the opportunity to provide comments. For those who have pre-registered to provide a comment, the moderator will call upon your name in the order in which your registration was received. Each participant will have 3 minutes to articulate their comments. If you have not pre-registered to provide a comment, you may request to do so once the public hearing is underway, and you will be called upon if time permits. Alternatively, written submissions of comments can be submitted before and after the in-person public hearing through the designated website www.pabtreplacement.com. Email at pabtreplacementnepa@panyj.gov. By phone, leaving a voicemail at 92950273004, or by postal correspondence to the Port Authority of New York, New Jersey. 4. World Trade Center 150 Greenwich Street, 25th floor, New York, New York zip code 10007. Attention to Miss Elizabeth Rogak, Esquire. or to the Federal Transit Administration, Region 2, 1 Bowling Green, Room 428, New York, zip code 10004-1415. Attention to Mr. Donald Burns, FDA Director of Planning and Program Development. All comments submitted during this public hearing and the entire 45-day public comment period will be reviewed and addressed within the final environmental impact statement, which is expected to be completed in summer of 2024. The following slide is a summary of the DEIS public comment period schedule. The 45-day public comment period started on February 2, 2024, and will end on March 18, 2024. This concludes the pre-recorded presentation. We will now transition to the moderated portion of the meeting, during which comments will be received.